Hello and welcome to the video. Today's video is going to be about 5 coasters that I think I need to give a second chance. And basically, so these are going to be 5 coasters that I either didn't have the best experience on, or there's been some reason that it's led me to believe that if I rode them again, I would like them more and then move up in my rankings. And for that reason, you won't see any coasters at my home park or parks I go to often or parks I've been to recently on this list. It's going to be parks that I either haven't been to in a few years or parks that I've only been to once. So I haven't had as many rides on these coasters, or I don't remember them as well. So this is 5 coasters that I like to give a second chance next time I visit these parks. And some of them could be as soon as this year, and others probably won't be for a few years. I'll get back on riding all of these coasters. The number 5 coaster on this list is Flutter Fear at Kings Island. This is a coaster that I didn't hate it, I just didn't really enjoy it that much. It didn't really do much for me. I thought it was kind of slow. There was a lot of brakes. Well, the brakes hit hard. Um, like I said, it wasn't terrible. I had a bit of a rattle. I didn't hate it or anything, but I just felt like it was not as good as I expected. And from what I've heard, this may be one of the worst the spaghetti bowl clones. So maybe I just need to read the other ones. But yeah, so this is a coaster I'd like to get on again, or at least get on a clone of it again, just to see if I'd like it any better. The number 4 coaster on this list is Intimidator at Carowinds. The main reason that this is making the list is mainly because I haven't ridden it in so long. It's been about 3 years since I've ridden it, and when I first rode it, I had a lot smaller of a coaster count, and it was actually one of my top coasters at the time just because I hadn't ridden much. And it's really fallen a lot of my rankings, and I don't really think that's because like it doesn't. I think it's mainly because of what I've heard from other people with the ride, because I don't remember it that well anymore. I remember it having very good airtime, and I did really enjoy it at the time. But now it was not my first B&M Hyper, but it was my first out and back B&M Hyper, so I didn't really know what to expect. And I feel like now that I've ridden more, it would either improve in my rankings because it's fallen so much due to what I've heard about it, or it would stay where it is because I agree with the people of what I've heard about it. So I think one of those two things will happen whenever I get around to riding this again. That probably won't be for a while, but yeah, this is another coaster I'd like to get back on is Intimidator at Carowinds. And the main reason this is all the way down at number 4 on the list is because this does rank by far the highest in my rankings out of any coaster on this list, because I did have a really good experience on it. I just like to do it again to see if it would improve or not. The number 3 coaster on this list is Banshee at Kings Island. This one is one I just really didn't enjoy much at all during my visit. I've only had 2 rides on it, so that might be part of the reason. But this ranks all the way down for me around 6 or 7 at Kings Island, and that is not including Orion because I have not ridden it. But this is another one I think it could really move up in my rankings if I rode it again. It does not make my top 25 overall coasters right now. And my main problem with the ride was that I just didn't really think it was as intense as other B&M Infants I've ridden. It felt pretty forceless to me, and also it was very rough. It was probably not the roughest B&M I've ridden, but the roughest B&M invert I've ridden out of 5 of them that I've ridden. And only one of those other ones, which was Patriot Worlds of Fun, was even remotely rough. And that one I still enjoyed due to having redeeming qualities. But Banshee just didn't really do much for me. There was a couple fun inversions, but I think it would either need, for me to like it more, it either need to be smoother or be a little more intense. So maybe one of those two things can happen on my next visit to Kings Island, and I'll like it more. So that's why I like to get back on this one. And my number 2 coaster on this list is Lightning Rod in Kentucky Kingdom. This is a story for another day, but basically when I went to Kentucky Kingdom, I had hardly any time there due to the park closing at noon for a really stupid reason that I'm not going to go into, and I didn't know that was going to be happening when I went that day. So I was literally at Kentucky Kingdom for less than an hour. So I had to go really quick and get on all the coasters. And so I only had time for two rides on Lightning Run, and because of the park closing so early, there was hardly anyone there, so that's how I was able to get 2. But I don't even remember what row I rode in. This was a while ago that I went. I'm assuming I just didn't really get much airtime at all, even though people say this coaster has tons of airtime. It gave me a little bit, but not enough that it really impressed me. So this is another coaster. I don't remember it very well, so I could be a little off of what I thought about it, but this is just another coaster that didn't really impress me much, and I think it's definitely overrated. But However, I think if I went back to this park again, I could possibly get a better ride on it, and I might enjoy it a lot more. So this is probably the coaster on the list, this list that I'm most likely to be riding again this year. It's not for sure that I'll be going to Kentucky Kingdom, but out of the parks that coasters on this list are in, this is by far the most likely that I might be riding again this year. So hopefully I can get another chance to ride this. The number one coaster on this list is actually a coaster that was my very first roller coaster credit that I ever got and first coaster that I ever rode. It's been Pippin at Bay Beach. This is a coaster it's been the longest since I've ridden out of all these coasters on this list. I don't remember the last time I've ridden it, but the most possible recent year that I rode it was 2016, and it could have been even earlier than that. I know the first time I rode it was in 2011 when it opened, but I definitely rode it at least a few other times after that, but the most recent I could have ridden it was 2016, and the reason I don't have an exact date because I didn't become a coaster enthusiast until 2017. So I have not even ridden this coaster since I've been a coaster enthusiast, although it was my very first coaster I ever rode. And basically I don't even put this coaster in my rankings due to me not remembering it well enough. But this park, I didn't really go there that much, but technically Bay Beach used to be my home park back before I was a coaster enthusiast and right when I was first becoming one. So this is a bit of even though it's been so long since I've been there, it is a bit of a special park for me. And this coaster, I remember it being a decent ride, but it didn't really stand out to me at the time, mainly due to me not being a coaster enthusiast. But I've heard some really great things about this ride and how much airtime it has. And I really think if I rode this again, it would definitely be in my top 25 and could possibly even make my top 10 coasters. It just looks like an airtime machine, and it has a lot of floater and possibly some ejector towards the end. So it's a coaster I really hope I can get on, and I think I should be able to ride it again next year in 2021. It shouldn't be too hard. If the pandemic didn't happen, then I would have rode it again this year, but unfortunately, no. So that's going to do it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching it. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, give it a dislike. If you want to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to let me know your thoughts on the video, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching, everyone.